listening to Pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 91. Not changing subject. Surely you have noticed, you must have noticed that more of our time, more of the message being presented to us is about changing the subject frequently. When we watch TV, the subjects alternate quickly. The editing of the different segments are fast-paced. The different imagery, the different shots, the different scenes change quickly from one to the next. When we watch movies, modern movies, the editing is much faster than it used to be. Could be that the editing is just every scene is a second, half a second. Very rapid editing. Changing the subject incessantly. When we go online, different social media, different news outlets, we have been made used to scroll the timelines, as they're called, and different algorithms, different programming is changing the subject from post to post very rapidly. It's a matter of half a second, sometimes quicker than half a second. Changing the subject so quickly that it becomes like a state of mind. A changing subject state of mind. This is significant. This is telling of the times we live in right now. The extremely frequent subject shifting, focus shifting, and it becomes a state of mind. Today's episode is called Not Changing Subject. And today we will talk about universal skill creativity, because not changing the subject is part of universal skill, creativity. It is creative of us to not change the subject, especially in these times when changing subject is the norm, the rule maybe. Then not changing subject is very creative of us. Today we will talk about what happens when we do not change the subject. What happens when we spend a sustained period of time focusing on one and the same thing? What is being lost when we change the subject? First off, we will talk about what happens between person and person, human and human, you and me, when one of us decides not to change the subject. What happens then? When I, now, do not change the subject. I am talking with you, and I am talking about not changing subject, and I'm staying on this subject. What happens is that there is connection between you and me. There is focused connection. Within this focused connection, we can identify with one another. We feel connected. We do not feel lonely anymore. We feel like a team. We feel like we can do things together. We feel powerful. And when we feel like this, we drop down into our bodies. We sigh. You hear me sighing right now. We sigh and we drop down into our bodies. We get heavy. Our bodies become strong and heavy. When our bodies become strong and heavy and grounded, we feel determination. We feel this sort of anger that has a clear direction, this controlled, meaningful force, determination. And all of this is part of not changing subject. Within this, within not changing subject, time slows down. You can feel now how everything slows down, becomes more tangible, more constructive. And you can feel that pausing becomes easier. Not changing the subject makes pausing easier. This is very creative. Not changing the subject is creative, especially in this time. And you feel right now that the state of mind that you and me are in right now is very different from the common state of mind for our time. This state of mind is different. This state of mind feels different. Not changing subject is physical. We get in touch with our powerful bodies. We get in touch with our determination. We get in touch with our will, what we want, and what we know to be true for us, not for anyone else, for us. It's unmistakable. Whenever we wish to accomplish something, we should engage in not changing subject. We pause and we stay with what we want, and then we simply do not give it up. We do not allow for the subject to be changed. We do not allow for distraction. When in this other state of mind, this original state of mind, the not changing subject state of mind, technology, a lot of the digital technology we are facing right now can feel quite redundant, like we don't need it anymore, that we want to find other solutions to the same problems, that we might even formulate new problem formulations, new definitions of what constitutes a problem for us. After all, frequently changing the subject creates a lot of problems. And not changing the subject creates few, if any, problems. Not changing subject. Now we enter the last part of today's episode, and we have not changed the subject. We have stayed on subject. And this far in, you feel that you are changing. You feel that a mere 15 minutes, of not changing the subject feels huge. It changes how the rest feels. It changes how changing the subject feels. Not changing subject is powerful. It gets us where we want. The more we do it, the further we get. The more we do it, the easier it gets. The more we do it, it gets intuitive. Powerful, yes, but intuitive. We have always known it, but denied ourselves to do it. A lot in life comes down to not changing subject. If you know something to be right for you, if you know that you really enjoy something, or if something feels interesting, worthwhile, do not change subject. Stay on your subject. It is inspiring to do so. When we do this, the people around us will be inspired to do the same. The more you stay on subject, the more people around you will develop a desire to stay on subject as well. Staying on subject, we grow our autonomy. Staying on subject, we little by little, day by day, moment by moment, grow our freedom. Freedom is hard. It is very hard to bear and cope with the burning feeling of freedom. But staying on subject, whatever our subject might be, accustoms us to freedom. We slowly get used to great freedom, great autonomy. And we go slow. We will not get used to it overnight. It will take time. Time that we do have, contrary to what we are being told. We do have time, and we do not change subject. That's it for today. Thank you.